And so 3 days ago, I was on one of those marriage agency tours. And last night we were all drinking a beer and we were talking, and I'm with Alex Pinto of FH Dating, and he's way too modest to do this himself. So I said, come on, let me try to do this, because what I needed to hear, I didn't hear in time. And why don't we make a little video and share it to the world so people who can do some research and evaluation on their own, they can connect the dots, they can call you and other people and make a decision for themselves. So have I pulled you out of your shell? Are you ready to talk to the camera?
Yeah, I'm a little bit shy to say these things.
You know, he is shy, but he gives excellent service. He knows everybody in town. And the marriage agency industry, if you don't mind me saying so, is 90% horse shit. Can I say that?
Yes, you can, of course. You said it already. No problem.
But 10% of it's true.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think that you and your company represent that 10%. So why don't we just talk like we were talking over a beer and just take it from there.
The funny part of the idea is that we represent different stages, okay?
Right.
So, and Lucy is here also with us because she will give us the perspective about how Ukrainian women see us foreigners coming here. And Christopher is my good friend. He's married for 10 years with an Ukrainian woman from Poltava. I'm married for 5 years.
7 years. We've known each other
7. Okay, 7. He's missing 3 more years of happiness. Justin is on process to get married soon. He's waiting for his K1 visa for Oksana, and he's here for a couple of months. He had that courage to stay here with us also. And this lovely young boy also come to us and started a very nice relationship by his own. He found her. We just sponsor him with friendship and support.
And it's been very important.
And then he pushed me to make these things, and that's interesting that we have different stages of relationship, but everything is common. It's Ukrainian Poltava women.
And this is not scripted. I think that a couple things pop off. I mean, people when they're doing some initial research. I mean, you did research on Crazy before you came here. Why don't you tell people how much work you did? I mean, I've never seen anybody. I mean, he had reams of paper like this. I was like, damn, it was like a science project.
Just don't start to laugh, because then you never say anything. Why you appear here?
Well, you know, I was curious because I have about 5 or 6 friends back in the United States that are all married to Ukrainian women, and they're really happy. And the girls are exceptional. They're intelligent. They have traditional values. Ukrainian the culture here is patriarchal, which means the man's allowed to be a man. People aren't confused about who's going to be the man in a relationship. And all that is sort of hard to find in the United States. And so I thought, well, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. I sort of made a mistake of not doing enough research probably, and I went on a tour, and I lasted about 3 days. And I asked myself, would John Wayne do this? And the answer was no. I mean, it wasn't good for a million different reasons. I don't want to badmouth anything, but I just got on I met a girl online on a normal social networking language exchange board, and I thought, how hard would it be just to go to Poltava? You know, you do need help a little bit. I mean, you can bounce around and sort of connect the dots, but I'm happy to help you because you've been legitimately a tremendous help to me, not only with the apartment and the transportation and answering some questions, but I never really thought I needed any girl advice, but both of you really have been helpful in the first 2 or 3 weeks, helping me understand what I was seeing and what I wasn't seeing. So thank you, and I'm happy to be here and help.
Well, thank you too.
It's the truth.
So Justin, you will never pass this problem that we passed about to be scared, because you came a little bit more defined. You found Oksana very fast. So I was not a very big help for you on that.
Not at all.
No, so I don't know what am I doing.
I don't know why you have me here. It's weird.
Yeah, this I just met at the door and brought him here. Don't you loan me some money to pay? So honestly, what we want to discuss here, and we had this idea because you are really much more habilitated to say this to us. It's just I fight every single day about scamming, about what is right, what is wrong, about expectations, anxieties, deceptions, and dreams that are unfundamental completely. So, and for this, sometimes I'm not so much pleasant, and sometimes I really have to select people to work with, because unfortunately in this life of law not all can be succeeded, and the percentage of success is low, to be realistic. So, and I would like to listen from...
Yeah, let me... I just got off that cruise, the tour, and what I'd like to suggest is if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And a lot of the bigger sites and the tours and stuff, they make representations that make men have expectations here, and that's the reason why I think that you try to realign people when they get here.
Yeah, Justin already had the opportunity because he's living here with us for some months already.
6 months, yeah.
6 months already. So
yeah.
You already saw clients coming and going, and you understood a little bit what is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest problem people have is they come here thinking, I'm going to get a Victoria's Secret model, she's going to be fighting over me, and the dating paradigm doesn't change once you're here. It's just it's subtly different, I think. Like, you still need to do good things.
In some ways, it's more of a challenge. I think that if you just sit in the middle of a square, you're sort of blown away with how many beautiful women walk by. Mm-hmm. And most guys, if they're only here for a day or a half a day, their brains go to shit and they just don't know what to do. But the women need to be... I mean, it's not just connect the dots, boom, boom, boom. It takes some time, it takes some care, and that's what I think you're saying. It's like normal dating, normal relationship building.
Right.
It's not just put in a quarter and pull the lever,
yeah,
and it all works.
Go to the market and pick up your bride.
Right.
So what do you think that are the bigger dangers about that you check out there, and concerning what you see there and what you arrive, what is the difference?
That's the biggest problem. I don't know if you have this problem, but when you're in the United States doing research, you really can't tell who's telling the truth and who's not. Mm-hmm. It all looks about the same, and you get lulled into trying to believe the best because that's the motivation, right? I think it's important to try to get away from the big cities. I think it's if you go to Kiev or Odessa, you may as well be in LA or Miami or New York. I mean, you don't get a benefit there really. So you focus in smaller cities where the people are more friendly because it's a smaller city. Like in South United States, sort of. That's a big one for me.
Yeah, I bet on the small cities because the mentality is different. They are not so, as I used to say, politicized.
Yeah, spoiled.
Spoiled is the word. And if you stay put to a place and you focus, you give more time to yourself, and then you can apprehend what is going on. Because what I also feel on people is that they come here, they stay 3 days, they go to the other city, they stay 3 days, they spend 10 days, go back home, and at the end what they have nothing. Because they didn't give time to themselves, they didn't give time to meet anyone, and this way really it's a loss of time.
All the emphasis is on picking, but it's just artificial picking, it's choosing.
Yeah.
It's not relationship building.
Right.
And I think people have an expectation that when you meet somebody, there's going to be this chemistry, and we're going to go on this really fast, accelerated romance. It's going to fit in 3 days because that's all I've got, or 14 days because that's all I've got, and that's just not grounded in reality.
You felt that, Chris, when you started to date Lynn at the beginning. Did you have a mess to find who is who? Is that true or is not true? What you saw about girls in internet when you start to see who is this Ukrainian people that I may find a wife out of my country?
Honestly speaking, I wasn't looking for a Ukrainian girl when I was dating. I was just dating randomly, and my story is I was working in Germany, and I started talking to Lena, and just came to see her in Kiev just for a party, just to see what was happening, just for a bit of fun. And then when we went travelling together, that's when we sort of got on well and began a relationship. But I never really did the dating thing, like internet dating or agencies or anything like that. So
how did you meet her?
We started chatting on one of the Facebook sites, or before Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah, like one of these ICQ type things.
Okay.
Yeah, so...
No, it's funny. We have a little bit similar story because when I met Natasha online, and she said I'm from Ukraine, if she would say I'm from Moldova or from Georgia or whatever, for me it was all the same. This for me was Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Right. So I didn't say I want to meet a future wife from this country. No,
exactly. It was just random.
We just random and happened to be here.
Yeah. And I had no idea about this place at all. but I'm mad. I go traveling like all over the world and to some crazy places. So, you know, for me, it was just another crazy thing in my life that I did. And came to Kiev, and yeah, that was where we started our relationship. And then I got a job offer in Africa, and invited my girlfriend then to come and stay, and she never left. And that's the story.
Yeah, sometimes they do that.
Yeah.
But you see, another thing that we are in common is like, he matched with, he found Lena, and she stayed put, and the things go, always together. Yeah. He arrived, met Oksana, and things till today never stop, everything goes on. Yeah. I have the same story. You arrive here, you met the first one that was presented to you, until today you are with the same one.
Mine was a little challenging, and I had to, you know, I had a variety of people that I could have met.
Yeah, but the fact here is that you stay put to that one.
I couldn't do any better.
I think 90% of the time you have to go with your gut instinct. I think, you know, it's common sense. You know, you really have to just go with your feelings and what's, I think really, you know, if you kind of, you know, sometimes you don't want to believe it. I think when you meet
90% of that's true, but it's a little complicated, and I think because you got your gut, and you got your heart, and you got your brain. So there's three people fighting sometimes, and you're in a different culture where the girl speaks English, but maybe she speaks 30% English or 80% English. There's been 2 occasions in this last period of time where I was convinced things were going one way, and I think Lucy and Alex, because they were actually going in another. So, you know, it is a little bit of it's not, again, it's just not, there is a role for trusted advisors and people that you can befriend, and some support for sure.
Maybe it's not so politically correct to say that, but I'm not the kind of guy that can consider myself as a matchmaker, because I see the things on this way. When we date in Ukraine or any other of these countries, or date back home, is the same. It's the interaction between men and women. Okay? So why we change the behavior if you go to a foreign country to date? We should not. If home we suspect that if she have this behavior is because she's not the right one, the same behavior here should be analyzed in the same way. Because we feel that, as Christopher was saying, when we feel that something is not there, what excuses not to give importance to that bad feeling that we had just because we are in a strange country. We must bring ourselves here and be exactly the same person that you are back home. Because if you don't show that, you create around you different perspective of who you are, and people will adapt to what you are showing, and suddenly your real ego come up, and then you don't fit anywhere because was all a performance.
Right.
So if you see a green light, it's a green light. If it's an orange light, it's an orange light. If it's a red light, just jump out, because that doesn't have any chance. If you feel something is wrong now, it will be wrong forever. So if you come for a few times, move, because it will not go. And we saw already lots of these things. When we see people coming and we see that they have red flags, and we say, you have a red flag.
We always say that.
You don't go anywhere, and they try, and what you do, we just wait and sit. And then it goes down. And then, okay, now I bumped the head, now you tell me, what can I do? Sometimes, and it's not sometimes, it happens very often, is we can say lots of good advices to everybody, but you will believe on that when you will feel by yourself what I told you to. It's not that I am the true of I am the owner of the truth, but I have the experience of being here, and I know when I see that it's going this way, it's going to happen that way. I can tell you 10 times, but you will not do it. You will experience, and then you say, what he says is okay, so next time I will listen what he's going to say. That's how we deal with people, is because nobody comes and match. It's not difficult. They don't need a matchmaking person. They need someone that supports them here, because they are themselves. They date home, they date here equal. When people date back home, they don't show the pictures of the car on iPhone to the dates back there in the United States, right?
It's you know.
This is a tiny example that I used to say to people, that if you come here, if you don't be yourself, and you become the other person that wants to show something, but who put on their heads that the girls here need that kind of conversation? That is what I really don't understand. Because if you are like in Manhattan dating a girl and you pick up your iPhone and say, this is my car, this is my house, she will smile on you. Say, what the hell are you doing? So well, why these ones here will not say the same? They will not say it for two reasons. Or they cannot say because unfortunately don't speak the same language. Or they will not say because they don't want to offend you because they just met you. But then they will start to look to you and say, okay, you are not exactly the guy I was expecting. But what you show me there is tempting. And then we have a problem. Then we don't know what he likes more. What you show here or what you show here. So better to be the normal dater guy as back home.
And then the guys may complain if they show their cars, their belongings, and then, I feel that she only wants my money, my car, or whatever. But that's what you show to her. You don't show your soul, you don't show your personality, you show what you have. Don't complain then.
We don't show ourselves to catch the person we want, and then we go back home and we become to be another man. The true man that we didn't bring here, and then we cannot afford to have that woman because that woman fall in love for this kind of man, not the one that is living back home.
I'd like to say something if you don't mind.
If you are not against me, you can say everything.
I'm not against you. But you know, bear in mind that I was with a group of about 14 guys a couple weeks ago, and they all had, all of them in their own way had their best intentions, right? But when American guys talk amongst themselves and say, okay, I went out with this one, you got with number 579? It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. All of those good intentions just melt away, and you end up on a glorified Easter egg hunt. And the type of dialogue that you have is in no way similar to what you just heard you say, because what you were saying was the truth. And that's what it takes in order to make a relationship actually take root. And what guys hear on the internet and on web pages, where it increases their expectations, and even if they come here and they're with other Americans or what have you, it echoes and reverberates all the wrong signals. What ends up happening is they come here, they spend $5 grand, 10 grand, they meet 20, 40 girls.
It sounds like you're buying them on eBay or something. This kind of process. Do you know what I mean?
I had a friend who was a little jumpy, nice guy.
Yeah.
He had 5 girls that were absolutely gorgeous that really were sincerely interested to get to know him. But he was so excited to go to get that next first date that he didn't ever have a second date and a third date with those 5 girls. And that's where it's interesting, because at the end of all of that, all these guys, generally the consensus is, that was a bunch of crap, And then it is, but it's not. There are good girls there, you have good intentions, it needs to take root, and you need to be in an environment that encourages that.
You say true, but there's one big secret, is that the fact that the person that comes needs to have his heart open to accept and recognize that that help is useful. Because if you come in an arrogant attitude that I can, I buy, and I get, you don't go anywhere because you are out from your place.
Right.
It's not that we have the secret, it's that you create your own problem. Because you don't know how people think here. And people here, they think, with all respect, in terms of these young girls, they think more than the girls there back home. Not only in your country, but in mine, in ours. They are teenagers, here they are women already.
Right.
Because they do things that we would never do in our lives. They do things that I would never do that. Okay, you are talking from there to here. But okay, if you come here, you have a problem to leave. But no, they are living there peacefully, and nobody is more than the others. The fact is that which reason deal us to think that the girls in the former Soviet Union, they play instruments, they have 2 degrees in university, they help the grandmother, the mother. Well, they are wonderful. Okay, it's needed to be intelligent to reach that point. So if someone is intelligent to reach that point, can analyze you, right? So if you come play the say, we have here a victim. The good ones will leave him alone, the bad ones will squeeze him, and then we say, bad girl. No, bad boy. You made the bad girl. Because the bad boys that came, like all the foreigners, and I'm included on them, when we show the iPhone, we are corrupting a pure mentality. That at the end is what we want, is to bring this pearl back home. But before you take it home, what you do, you put lots of gold around, you put in a nice box, you create a different environment, and then you bring it home and you take the box, all the things that you want the pearl again. No, it's too late already.
I mean, we come here with expectations in our head, with a stop clock in our head, and that's just not. You gotta get a different balance and a homeostasis about that.
So that is interesting to listen what Lucy said, because as a woman, she see us coming here with our stars
Lucy,
around.
How pathetic do we look?
It depends if you stay on being yourself or not. Also, I just thought that oftentimes I hear now and then that sometimes people are coached that they need to bring this clothes or that clothes, or they need to look like that or this. This is not true, because if you stay yourself, if you just don't try to be anybody else, if you don't try for everybody to like you, if you don't wear something that's not comfortable for you, you just be you. And people like you for you. If they don't like you, then it's their problem, you try. But what's not right, I think, is bringing here clothes and moods and attitudes that you don't use home. So just stay you, and you will succeed.
Secret Life